third phase of elimination is excretion, which is the colon. And our colon is the part of our tubing system that actually finishes up the elimination process via our mouth to our anus. And there's two really important aspects of proper colon health and overall elimination of things like parasites, of bacterial infections, fungal overgrowths, and microbial organisms that actually reside primarily in the colon. There's a term called auto-intoxication, which I've mentioned in a previous video, which is when toxins or organisms or food matter decomposes in our intestinal tract and starts to off-gas fungal or bacterial metabolites, and these go into our systemic system, or systemically move out into our circulatory system and cause putrefaction throughout our system. And a lot of that putrefaction actually concentrates in the colon, and because of the compounded effect of all the food that we're eating, improper food combinations, improper food in general, and overall toxicity, we're not eliminating that stuff properly. So the two things we need to think about are actually colon hydrotherapy, which is the art of colonics, and there's different forms of colonics that we won't go into right now, but if you're new to colon hydrotherapy, what you need to do is actually start putting your foot in the door, because this is one of the most important aspects of health, rejuvenation, and detoxification that we actually have at our disposal in the Western world in the 20th century. And then the other aspect is proper potty etiquette, which is basically being in the right postural position when you're going to the bathroom. And this is actually a major epidemic. There's a major phenomenon going on right now where a lot of Americans, when they get into their mid-40s, 50s, and 60s, are actually dying on the toilet. And many of you might be surprised to know, probably you watching this video, you're not that surprised, but many people would be surprised to know that the porcelain throne that we call a toilet is actually a modern invention. This is not something that has been indigenously practiced by Aboriginal human beings. Actually, what they would do is squat down in a full flat-footed squat position, and they would defecate into a hole in the ground. And that position actually allows the full the canal, the anal rectal canal of our colon to completely open up and cause a full bowel movement. What happens is there's something called a Valsalva maneuver, which is, this is known in the bodybuilding world. When people do like squats, they cause a lot of pressure to their canal, to the anal rectal canal specifically, and a specific nerve that connects from that region of our colon all the way to our heart. So if too much pressure is caused by trying to get stuff out, and you know what I'm talking about out there, if you're in an improper squatting position where your knees are not actually up to your chest, then you can place too much pressure on that nerve, and it's been correlated with the eruption of that nerve connecting to the heart. So heart attacks basically are connected to constipation. I did a lecture one time in Hawaii, and the lecture was called Death by Constipation. And this is a very real phenomenon. When they did the autopsy on John Wayne and Elvis, in John Wayne they found 40 pounds of fecal matter in his intestinal tract. When they studied Elvis, they found 60 pounds of fecal matter in his intestinal tract. And I believe both of them died on the toilet, if recollection is accurate. And so this is a really important concept to understand. Obviously, raw living food, green vegetable juice, superfood smoothies, upgrading our water, drinking more water, tonic herbalism, and fiber, insoluble fiber is going to be part and parcel for this whole extraction, elimination process, but then also being in the proper position when we're releasing, and also getting colonics regularly. Again, I want to say this about colonics because if any of you watching, or if you have family members that might be a little skeptical about it, may think it's kind of a new age thing, understand that colonic practice has been done ever since the ancient Egyptians, all the way back to the Greeks. They've actually been doing colon hydrotherapy practices. So this is nothing new. But that porcelain king's throne of a toilet is a modern day invention, right? So you can kind of flip that back on them and kind of try to get them, massage them into the door, because what I can tell you about colonics is I've seen people that have literally been in theology, they've been in the Catholic Church, whatever form of religion, and that's not a knock on religion, but they've been doing the whole church thing for 20 years and never caught the Holy Ghost. But as soon as they got a colonic, they had a religious experience that they never saw coming. And automatically all that spiritual insight, all that illumination, all that inspiration and enthusiasm to actually live life fully started to activate within them. And you all of a sudden had a new generation of raw food advocates. So those two things are really powerful, really fundamental for basic health and for really opening up the primary elimination channel of the body, which is your colon.